Hello, everybody, and happy Saturday to you. I have taken over Truth or Tinfoil for the day. I think Brandy got lost or something, but she ought to be here shortly. I hope. Um, we're going to do something a little different. What I'm going to do is I'm going to present some encounters. And hey, Denise, I'm going to present some encounters, and then we're going to discuss them if we think they're real or not. Because a lot of what we go off of in this field are encounters. Hey, John, and hey, Pops. Um, so we you kind of have to have your BS meter in high gear when people are telling you stories or encounters. Got to get out of the habit. And I've got a few that were given to me that I've narrated, and um, I've got one that is a very, very, very famous one that y'all are going to recognize, or most of you will. Um, and it's honestly, I don't know if it's real or not, but we're going to have to let y'all figure this one out. I mean, we'll give you our opinions, but why do you keep sending me this stuff? Because I can't get on Instagram. I have an Instagram, but I don't have access to it. I know, people. Same thing with Facebook. Let's see who this is. So what do y'all think? I'll tell you what. Let's go over because I want to say the big one till I get either Brandy gets here. I hope she's okay. Um, hey Roger. So let's go over one of those that I've narrated, and I'm just going to bring it up, and y'all can sit back and listen to it. And now, folks, what we're going to do is if you think it's true, put a T. If you think it's BS, put foil or an F or whatever. And don't feel obligated just because this came off of my channel or whatever to, you're not going to hurt my feelings if you think it's BS, because I think they're cool stories or encounters that I get, and I put them up there. Like I said, just because it didn't happen to me doesn't mean it's true. Doesn't mean it's it's not. So, but anyway, let's get to some. This first one is my team is blowing up my phone. Because we're trying to find Randy. She may be lost in cyberspace somewhere. So let me get this one up here. Yeah, we'll do this one. And I named it I Will Never Camp Again. Okay. Bear with me. Bear with me. Bear with me. Bear with me. All right, here we go. So much more.
Hi, my name's Stephanie. I don't exactly know how to start these things off except to tell you that I'm telling the truth, and no one believes me just because I'm like not old. It doesn't mean I'm making it up or I'm stupid. Going camping and roughing it isn't something that I had any interest in. This is what happened on my first and my last camping trip. To start with, I was annoyed. My phone barely had reception and I was constantly fighting bugs. I rarely came out of my tent, and when I did, it was because I had to. Yes, I'm a city girl and I intend to stay that way, especially now that there are frickin' monsters out there. Let's get something straight. I do not know what I saw, nor do I care to. I do know it was bigger than any man, smelly and hairy. I did not get a very good look at it, and frankly, I'm glad I didn't. My parents forced me to go on this stupid trip to experience nature. Oh, yeah, never again. Oh my God, it totally sucked. We were there 3 nights and I thought it would never end. Anyway, back to my story. The first day we had to do the whole nature walk thing. The high point was the cute baby deer and its mama, but that was ruined by a crime scene of some poor dead raccoon stuck in a tree. My dad, trying to play the almighty woodsman that he's not, said that a bobcat probably killed it. The first night was miserable, fighting the mosquitoes. I stayed in my tent away from the bugs. Second day we went fishing, which was a total disaster, since one of my brothers fell in and got covered in stinky mud. Mum was pissed. That night we were roasting marshmallows, which was cool, I guess, until what my dad said was a skunk got close to camp. So we went to bed early, which was okay. I sprayed my perfume in my tent, trying to get rid of the stink. The next morning we woke up and my brothers throwing rocks into the trees at what my dad said was a bunch of squirrels throwing stuff at my brothers again. The almighty woodsman, not. The third night we all went to bed. I had to share my tent with my gross stupid brothers because they'd ripped a hole in theirs being dumb. Anyway, I woke up to that gross smell, which I thought was my brother's farts at first. I heard something outside the tent. It was walking around, messing with our stuff. It would huff and puff and make a sort of humph sound. It walked along the side of the tent, and the moon lit it up its silhouette. It was huge and hairy. I tried to scream, but it came out a little squeak. I heard my mum yelling to Dad, go to scare it off, whatever it was. When my dad unzipped their tent, it turned and ran off. My dad got out their tent and heard me crying, unzipped our tent, and after I told him what I saw, he told me it was a bear, and it wouldn't come back and go back to sleep. He built the fire up really big and slept in a chair outside because Mum wouldn't let him back in the tent. Guess who didn't go back to sleep? The next morning, I tried telling them what I saw and they just said it was a bear. It wasn't a bear. I don't care what they say. I'm not going camping anymore. I don't care if they ground me or not. I'm not going. You people that do this camping wildlife thing can have it. Thanks for letting me share. Don't get eaten out there. Toodles.
So, what do y'all think? I know John Temperine says already sounds made up. What sounds made up about it? Um, I think it sounds very feasible. It sounds like one of these people that really doesn't want. She doesn't want to get herself out there, which is understandable. Get that a lot, actually. Not so much now. I'm finding more and more that people don't mind. Over the last 4 or 5 years, it people are more willing to not only submit their stories, but tell them personally, get them out there, because I think we've made a dent in what we've been trying to do over the years, and that's give people a safe platform. Don't judge them and all that kind of stuff. Because, like we've said many times, um, well, now, John, you can't go by the voice, because that was Mary Pettifer. I had her narrate the story for me, and that was her first narration she did for me. So, and she is from the UK. So, um, that's you have to take that with a grain of salt. You know, um, well, let's see. I'll show you the difference. Let me find one that was, I think, very well done, or half-assed done. It was all right. I won't say very well done, but and this is also going to also show you the difference between um, believing something, how easy it is to believe something when the way it's been narrated. Okay. Let's see here. Do, 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 do. So I had no idea that I was going to be stuck out here flying solo when I said I would go and do Randy's show for him. Let's see. I'm trying to find one of my better ones that I did. Here's a good one. This is now. See, this is going to be a good one that we can because I found this one interesting. Do, 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 do. Share the screen. Yeah, you can't really, when you're listening to the story. That's the problem. That's part of the problem. Part of the issues with, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But yeah, Mary is freaking awesome. If you haven't checked out her channel, she writes, illustrates, and narrates children's books. She's freaking awesome. She's super sweet. I haven't seen her around in a while. But if y'all go over there and subscribe to Mary Pettifer, um, tell her Tech sent you. Pops knows her. She's a sweetheart. All right, let's get this one out of the way. Hi there. First, let me say that I've told no one about this, so my name and location will remain anonymous. I will say that I'm in North Texas. I've been hunting as such for most of my 50 plus years in this world. And yes, I've seen things that sounded odd, but I've always written them off as what's considered normal animals. But looking back, I now think that at least some of them were these creatures that I now know exist. I enjoy hunting all different types of game and have always been sure of my shot before pulling the trigger. I wasn't even actively hunting this piece of land when this occurred. I was actually scouting it, getting the lay of the land for the next season. I'd parked my truck at what I'd decided to use as camp since it was next to an old but still functioning windmill. The landowner had made a road that bordered the property on all four sides along the fence lines, fire break, if you will. You had to either use an ATV, horse, or just walk in to gain access to the interior of the place, which had three fairly good sized ponds that were spring fed. I'd started by driving around the perimeter, checking, see if the road was clear, any downed trees, etc. And it was pretty clear. After I parked my truck at camp, I strapped on my pack and grabbed my rifle and sidearm, and off I went. I decided to scout in a grid pattern, marking locations on my GPS as I went. I'd been on the trail for a few hours and had found several decent looking spots. I even flushed out some deer and small game. I'd seen nothing but old hog sign, which was good news. I sat down to grab a snack under a tree on the bank of what I referred to as Pond 2 on my GPS. I was taking in the scenery, making mental note that I needed to wet a hook before heading out because there was quite a bit of topwater action. This is when a buck came running out of the trees and over the top of the small dam at the opposite end of me. He was in a hurry like he'd been flushed, which was strange because I was upwind, but I thought maybe another buck had ran him off or something. He ran off into the trees on the other end of the dam, and I went back to munching. I was just about to get up and continue my scouting when I caught a glimpse of something on the backside of the dam. It was dark and would bob up and down. Like now you see me, now you don't type thing. Puzzled, I watched it for a bit, and then I took a peek through my rangefinder. Then it disappeared and popped its head up again. I literally dropped my rangefinder and jumped a little. More in a what the hell reaction than anything. After shaking my head and saying to myself, no freaking way, I brought up my scope for a look. It was gone again, then pop, there it was. Yeah, I wasn't seeing things. I had a damn monkey playing peekaboo with me over the top of the dam. When it raised its head again, I realized this was no monkey. This thing was big and god awful ugly. I immediately broke out in a cold sweat because the look on this face was not a happy one. Then it was gone again. Here I was, miles away from civilization, in the brush, several hundred meters from my truck. I sat there with my rifle up, scanning the top of the dam, and it popped up a few meters to the left of where it was. I scoped in on it and clicked off to safety. I was now shaking, soaked in sweat, and eye to eye with this thing, slowly pulling the trigger, just about to put a neat hole between its eyes, when I noticed it wasn't just watching me. It knew I was watching it too. What happened next still makes me shudder when I think about it. Sometimes it just pops in my head out of the blue, sends a cold shiver down my spine. This thing looked me dead in the eye and shook its head no. I'd actually closed my mouth. My jaw had dropped open in disbelief. I blinked, wiped the sweat, scoped up again, and it was gone. I spent the next hour or so watching, and I never saw it again. I finally decided that I needed to get out of here. This little adventure was over for me. I didn't relish walking through the brush back to camp, so I hit the perimeter and walked the makeshift road back to camp. I just packed up and left. I called the landowner the next day and said I wasn't interested. Thank goodness I hadn't put a deposit down yet. I've been hunting since, but I'm very wary of what's out there now. We need to spread the word that these creatures exist, and they are far more than just an ape. They are self-aware and intelligent. I hope that the powers to be will come to the realization that this information should be out there. I hope this helps in the efforts to create awareness of these things. Stay safe and keep your head on the swivel. Thank you. So now that one, as y'all can tell, these are from years ago. I hope I've gotten better at narrating stuff. Um, but yeah, I thought it was pretty feasible. Just like the other one, I think it's very possible that it happened. Um, the only part that bothers me, but I know, it bothered me when I first got the encounter, was this thing looking at it and shaking its head no. Um, but researching these critters and seeing what they're capable of and knowing just how self aware they are, and I can't say that I think they see better than we do. I think they know we're out there and all that kind of stuff. Um, and I just got informed that I was supposed to be doing a show tomorrow, so y'all get a bonus show. Um, oh man, no wonder I'm by myself and everybody's like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" Working these third shifts, man, I lose track of time. What can I say? Oh, absolutely, John. John says, I believe they know your intentions and know what a gun is. You know, I do too, but I have to wonder if they know the difference between a gun and a camera. Because I think anything we hold up to our eye, they see as a bad thing. They see as trouble for them. That's what I think. Well, I will tell you this. We're going to do the same topic tomorrow. And I've got a few more that I can present for tomorrow. So we're going to do those tomorrow. Those are big ones. Um, the, one of them is, like I said, you're not going to want to miss it. It is a famous 911 call. So, or not a 911 call. It's a famous phone call, and we'll do that 911 call that I'm thinking about too. So, y'all be prepared, and we're going to cut this one short because I wasn't supposed to be up here anyway. But y'all got a few bonus, a little bit of bonus show, and we'll talk to y'all later. We'll see you tomorrow. Y'all be safe. Got to hit the end button first.